We're underway then for racing action here at Fulbeck in the final. The Mighties, the Bambino Comas, and the Iame Bambinos as well. A split grid for this one. We've already kicked it off. Green flags for the Iame Bambinos and the Bambino Comas. And we wait to see the Mighties coming through now, and they do get their race underway then. So first half of the pack heading through into sector number 2. We've got to move on the outside for the lead of the race. That was rather cheeky from Oakley Rudman. That was through the exit of the chicane. But he's made it work. He's got back to the sharp end then. They didn't quite spot the driver he got that move done on, but we'll see as they come through to end the first lap of proceedings. It will be 10 minutes plus 1 lap for all of the finals this afternoon. And this one already a minute in then. Drivers heading through the final couple of corners then in our first 2 classes. It is the 71 in the lead of this race of Oakley Rudman. Tommy Delaney it was that he was scrapping with there on the first lap. And sadly, it looks as though Teddy is dropping down the order. Potentially Teddy Delaney out of this race already. And not even 1 lap completed, sadly, for Teddy. Rest of the drivers in the Bambino Comas heading through. It's Jensen O'Connor at the sharp end of that one. He's on a fantastic run of form. The last few rounds, he's taken the victory in the final. He's trying to make that stick again here today at Fulbeck. They're squabbling as they head down into the chicane in the middle of the circuit. We've got 3 drivers absolutely nose to tail as they head through that section. And Teddy Delaney, good to see, is continuing on. He's just a little bit further down the pack. It's the 21 who's squabbling in with that one. Yeah, so we've got the 3 drivers battling over second place in the class. That'll be Jace Hannon, Buddy Dorr, and Noah Gallagher there, all line astern. Looking back to the Mighties, Harry Voss has been doing a fantastic job this season. Again, another driver that's taken a lot of final victories so far this year. Currently running in second place, so it's EJ Dira who's taken to the front in the Mighty Bambinos. Of course, it's so difficult to keep up to date with this one because we've got 3 different classes all battling on the same circuit at the same time. So I need about 18 sets of eyes to work out what's going on in this one. Sadly, we have got a driver facing the wrong direction there, heading down into sector number 3. I'll let you know who that is as soon as I can. I believe it's one of the Mighties. I can't quite spot though, so we'll wait and see as they come round exactly which driver that is. But yellow flags then down through sector number 2. No overtaking down through that part of the circuit. Drivers just got to have their wits about them. Of course, all these 3 classes, all Bambino classes, these are the youngest drivers that we'll see out on the black stuff this weekend. So, of course, always improving their racecraft, always improving their pace. But, of course, learning to keep their wits about them as well and make sure that we're as safe as possible out there around this Fulbeck kart circuit. We've just seen the 2 front runners in the Iame Bambinos, the Iame M1s, heading through onto a new lap of this race. Oakley Rudman still leading Tommy Delaney. There is Jensen O'Connor under the gantry. Jensen has a huge lead in this one at the moment, 6 seconds ahead of Teddy Delaney. Of course, Teddy in the Iame class, he's then leading basically the next train, followed by Buddy Dorr, Noah Gallagher, Jace Hannon and Alfie Ward then in that train. 4 of those drivers involved in the Bambino Comas. It seems as though Teddy Delaney, just the one keeping them all behind him. I think he's just started to gap the rest of those drivers. Yes, he has. So after earlier issues for Teddy, seems like he's finding some good pace now on the number 17 and he's pressing on ahead. Check over the shoulder from Buddy Dorr. He is very much aware that Noah Gallagher is right there in his wheel tracks and he's going to do everything he can over the next 6 minutes of racing action to make sure that he keeps Noah in behind him. And not only that though, if those 2 start to squabble, it's really not too far back then to Jace Hannon and Alfie Ward as well. So they'll really need to be watching what's going on with those drivers in behind. 8 in the 77, I'm watching battle there. They switched around again on this lap. Arthur Edvington back through on Oliver Reynolds. A nice move from Arthur to get himself back up into the top 3 in the Mighties. EJ Dira, though, still leading this one ahead of Harry Voss. And just to show how close these guys are on pace, both just set their personal best on the last lap, and they were within 0.02 of each other. They're going side by side down to the first corner. Move down the inside from the 56 of Harry Voss. He gets it done under brakes. Calm and collected there for Harry. He'd been planning that one for a little while, and he was determined to make his way through. Got a great exit off of the final couple of corners. Carried that speed through all the way down into the first chicane, and gets the move done for the lead in the Mighties. Great racing there between Harry and EJ. But at least for the moment, anyway, it has gone the way of Harry. Up to 9th place overall, but of course first in the class. And now the 56 checking over the shoulder. Now he's the one trying to work out if he can scamper off. It's about 3, 4, 5 seconds then back to the chasing pack. Arthur Etherington heading that one still ahead of Oliver Reynolds. Aidan Castleman, though, now beginning to close in. If he can get onto the back of those two fighting, maybe he can jump his way up into a podium spot if all goes well over these last couple of minutes of racing action. More drivers under the gantry. That was the battle in the Iame M1s. That was Buddy Dorr, Noah Gallagher, Jace Hannon, and then closely followed then by Alfie Ward as they head down through sector number 1 at the moment. Absolutely nose to tail between two of them. I do believe that's Buddy Dorr and Noah Gallagher, scrapping over second place in the class at the moment. They head through chicane number 2, down through into sector number 2, and again, big check over the shoulder from the number 21. Buddy Dorr just trying to make that car as wide as physically possible to stop Noah from making a move. But Noah absolutely chomping at the bit right behind him in his wheel tracks. It looks as though that Buddy Dorr spending more time looking behind him than he is looking ahead of him down the racetrack. He's just trying to see where Noah is looking to attack. And he seems to have covered him off pretty well at the moment. Still stays ahead as they go on to lap number 7 of this race. Lovely exit from Noah Gallagher, but he's not able to make any use of it. We got a yellow flag. I've just seen driver off into the wall down at turn 1. Driver absolutely fine. He's up and over the barrier to safety. Looks to be one of our green-plated karts, but can't quite spot who it is that's gone off down at the first 2 corners. We'll see when they come round to end this lap of racing who that is that's had an issue down there through turn 1. Doesn't look like the kart's too damaged, so maybe a mechanical issue for that driver. We'll see which of them doesn't make it round. It looks like it might be Tommy Delaney. I think it is Tommy Delaney. Only Rudman's come through to start a new lap of this race. Tommy Delaney was within a few seconds of him, but no more. Hasn't come across the line. I think we can safely assume the 33 is out of this race. There you go, confirmed on your live timing. Teddy, well, effectively makes the overtake. Goes past him while his brother sadly parks up on the sidelines. So Teddy will jump up into second place. Tommy will not be classified in this race. He is out on lap number 6. Just over 2 minutes left to go in this final then for our Mighties, Bambino Comas and Iame M1s. And it's all continuing to reshuffle. Buddy Dorr still with the pressure on him, trying to hold on to this second place in class with Noah Gallagher behind. Jace Hannon just not quite able to keep with them, slipping off the back ever so slightly. And we want to watch out for the battle for the lead in the Mighties as well. Good battle down into the first couple of corners there. I think that was Aidan Castle making the move on Oliver Reynolds. That's for 4th in the Might E class. But whilst they've squabbled, they're still squabbling side by side up through turn number 2. That long right-hander as they head then flat out back down to the second S's. They were still side by side on the exit. They managed to get themselves back into single file formation then through the S's. And who's ahead? It is the 77 of Oliver Reynolds that's kept it ahead of Aidan Castleman then. The Castleman initially making the move into turn 1, re-overtaken by Oliver Reynolds through into sector number 2. There's the 21 and the 22 across the line again. These two still squabbling over second place. And that is in, of course, the Coma Bambino class. Well, I think they're coming up on a slightly slower driver, potentially from a different class, as they head down through the top section of the circuit. Looking left, looking right is Noah Gallagher, but he still can't find a way to get past. They are going to get held up down to the second S's. How is this going to play out as they go through towards the exit? Held up towards the exit, but no, not able to make use of that is Noah Gallagher. They get through under power on the exit, but they stay as they were, with Buddy in second and Noah in third. Looks as though I think we potentially have... That looked like definitely a green plate to me. It looked like 2 green plates running nose to tail, but I think it is Teddy Delaney chasing down another one of our drivers in another class. There's the 26 of Jensen O'Connor under the gantry. 10 seconds to go in this one. Jensen with an absolutely monstrous lead in the Bambino Comas. There is Buddy Dorr and Noah Gallagher under the gantry. A good 11 seconds back now they are on your race leader in Bambino Comas. Well, final lap is on the gantry now. Drivers starting the last lap of this one. And we'll see who was able to bring it home in each class. At the moment, Oakley Rudman leading in the M1s. Bambino Coma lead goes the way of Jensen O'Connor, and EJ Dira still managing to fend off from Harry Voss. That is the closest battle for the lead, though, as we head into the final lap of this race. Who is going to be able to get ahead? Will Harry be able to continue? As we've got 3-4 drivers off under the start-finish gantry, the 33 being one of those of Tommy Delaney. So I was right, there were two green-plated drivers following each other, as Tommy Delaney has rejoined the race. So it must have been some sort of issue for him going off there, but they've remedied it trackside, and he's continued on, has Tommy. So that's great to see that he will make it to the checkered flag. Sadly, it is going to be third in the class for him, though, as he dropped down a couple of laps with those issues. Checkered flag is now out. First driver to see it will be the 71 of Oakley Rudman. He wins in the Iame M1s, and Harry Voss does get EJ Dira on the final lap of the race. Fantastic action there. Well done to Harry Voss getting through on EJ Dira on the last lap of proceedings. He'd been waiting in the wings, eyeing up a move. He gets it done on the final lap here at Fulbeck, and Harry Voss wins in the Mighty Bambinos. And Jensen O'Connor, we're waiting for him to come through to see the checkered flag, but he's got a monstrous lead. There's no way anyone's going to pit the 26 to the line. They'll become out of the final corner in a couple of moments' time. He will see the checkered flag, and that'll be the top three in the Bambino Comas. Jensen O'Connor, Buddy Dorr, and Noah Gallagher. Of course, Buddy and Noah were battling very hard throughout the last bit of that one. There is the 26 of Jensen O'Connor across the line. He celebrates triumphantly, as he should. What a dominant victory there from Jensen. We just wait for the other two drivers battling in that class to come and see the checkered flag. I think that the last two we're waiting for. There is the 22 of Noah Gallagher. So Noah Gallagher has got through on the final lap. Now, has Buddy come in the pits early there, or has he had an off-track excursion on the final lap? Buddy does not come through to see the checkered flag. He will stay there in 5th place, but he's lost the position there to Noah Gallagher because Noah did come through to see the checkered flag. Well, a surprising one there. Hopefully Buddy hasn't come into the pits ever so slightly early, but again, that's what can happen with multi-class racing and people starting the racing at different times, especially for these young drivers. It can get a little bit confusing, but they all did a fantastic job keeping out of each other's way and putting on a great race for us there. So to run you through then, in terms of the different classes, in Iame M1s, it was Oakley Rudman who took the race victory ahead of Teddy Delaney and Tommy Delaney. Good to see him making it to the checkered flag in the end. In the Bambino Comas, Jensen O'Connor won the race with Noah Gallagher and Buddy Dorr joining on the podium. Jace Hannon and Alfie Ward rounding out the 5 drivers. And then the Mighty Bambinos, it was Harry Voss with another final victory in the UK Kart Series. EJ Dira and Arthur Edwington joining him on the podium, followed by Oliver Reynolds, Aidan Castleman, Max West, Eli Parkhouse, Lily Castleman and Cruz Rogers rounding out the final order. Well, there we go then. First final is done and dusted here from Fulbeck. The Mighties, the Bambino Comas and the Iame M1s, we won't see them again until the final round in a month or so time. We've still got 5 finals still to come though here from Fulbeck. Next up, it'll be the Honda R200s. Onto the Honda R200 final then. When I turned up earlier on, it was the heat number 3 that was playing out, and my goodness was it exciting. Let's hope that continues here in the final. Oliver James Smith lines up on pole position. Top 3 on the grid here, split by only 2 points across today's racing action. Rocco Garrity will join Oliver on the front row. Aaron Berridge and Ashton Horspool on row 2. Then Peter Webster and JJ Allen, Matthew Plant and Adam Ingram. Then Rebecca Restel, Carter Lundy and Hallie Findlater rounding out the 11 kart grid for this one. Those last 3 on the grid as well. identical points, only separated by fastest lap from today's proceedings. Let's see how we go then. 2 by 2 to the lights. We're racing again at Fulbeck, and this time in the Honda R200s, holding that inside line as we fly down past the first S's, all the way down to that long right-hander, and it will be your pole sitter of Oliver James Smith, who holds on. We're 3 wide on the exit. One driver shuffled onto the grass on the outside. A hop, skip, and a jump. He gets back on the black stuff, but all the way at the back of the pack. We'll double check who that is as they come through under the gantry at the end of lap number 1, but I can confirm it's Oliver James Smith who still leads the way in this one as they head down through into sector number 2. Pressing on then down through into sector number 3 for the first time in this race. It was some great battling for Oliver James Smith in heat number 3 that I was watching earlier on. And he's done a great job at the start of this one. He had to make some overtakes in heat 3. For this one, though, he's looking to lead from the front and hopefully carry this one on 3 to the checkered flag. 2 by 2 into the first S's. That was mighty close. How have they managed to give each other enough room? They just about have. And Rocco Garrity on the 13, I think might have just shuffled his way on by there as we head down through. No, he's still there in 3rd place. He wasn't quite able to make the move stick, so it was aggressive from Rocco Garrity. But Aaron Berridge just about keeps his nose ahead. But look at how they've brought the rest of the drivers into play now. There's a point ahead from Aaron Berridge. He's thinking, why are you attacking me? What's going on? As oh no, they have now switched. My apologies. It is Rocco Garrity ahead. So Rocco, and now the one saying, come on, let's work together. Let's press on in this race. We're letting Oliver James Smith just scamper off with this one. 10 minutes plus 1 lap in this final. If they give up 2-3 minutes of scrapping, Oliver James Smith is going to say, thank you very much, guys. I'm more than happy to walk away with this one. And Rocco Garrity knows it, wants Aaron Berridge to work with him. And Matthew Plant, Peter Webster, JJ Allen, all in that first group. Then we've got a bit of a break back to the second group. That's Aidan Ingram, Hallie Finlater, Ashton Horspool, Rebecca Restel, and Carter Lundy there, rounding out the order. So it was a good first lap for Matthew Plant, up 3 places. Same for Hallie Finlater, up 3 places as well. Sadly, biggest loser on that first lap, Ashton Horspool, down 5 positions from 4th on the grid, down into P9. Here we go through into sector number 3 of this Fulbeck Kart circuit once more here in the Honda R200s. And look, it looks as though now that Rocco is free and chasing, he's starting to get that gap back down after only 1 lap. Let's see how it changes. It was 0.6 of a second last time around. It's down to 0.4 between Oliver James Smith and Rocco Garrity. More moves down to the first couple of corners. That was in our second pack of 3 now that have sort of broken free. Matthew Plant, Peter Webster, and JJ Allen continuing to squabble over the same piece of tarmac. He switched around there down through the S's on this time of asking. I do think Peter Webster might have got to the sharp end of that train now on the 1-2-5. They come out past my commentary box window, and yes, it is the 1-2-5 who's just made it ahead. Matthew Plant there in 5th place, JJ Allen still in 6th. But again, similarly to what we saw earlier on, the conversation between Rocco and Aaron, it's got to be the same between these 3 as well. If they don't sort things out here and start to work together, those top 3 are going to drive off from them, and there won't be any opportunity for Matthew, Peter, or JJ to try and close in and get a top 3 by the end of this race. Again, that gap has closed down to 0.3 of a second between Oliver James Smith and Rocco Garrity. And Rocco really now hoping for a bit of a push here from Aaron as he's gone with them, chasing down your current race leader of Oliver James Smith. You can see how Oliver ducks down there, down the back straight, through into the second S's. Just trying to activate that human DRS, get any sort of advantage that he can over his rivals. And it seems to be working at the moment anyway. He's keeping them just about at arm's distance. And just meaning no opportunities to size up a move at the moment for Rocco Garrity. About a kart length or so in between them. He seems to be a little bit quicker down through that bottom end of sector 2 into towards sector number 3. But then down through sector 1, seems as though Oliver James Smith might just about have the edge. Look at that slipstream though, down into the first S's once more. That slipstream really strong in these Honda R200 karts. That's always what we knew Honda Cadet racing as, was always big pack racing where they used each other's slipstream to their advantage and they were swapping left, right and centre. Seems to me like we might descend into that in a few moments time here in the R200s. It's just if Rocco or Aaron can get that overspeed and launch an attack here. We're nearly into half race distance here in the R200s. And still no change at the front. leading off from the start really well here, Oliver James Smith. But look at this, finally under pressure, serious pressure from Rocco Geraghty. Geraghty's found a bit more pace now onto the rear bumper of Oliver James Smith. And our top three nose to tail as we head on to lap number 7, looking for the move down the inside. This is it for the race lead, and he goes for it. Rocco Geraghty takes the race lead away from Oliver James Smith. Perfectly weighted on the brakes there, gets the move done, and now you can see Oliver's attention turning to second place. Well, he's going to lose that as well. Aaron Berridge fights his way through. Aggressive stuff. It was attempting to hold the inside line there was Oliver James Smith. Then he swung back, opened the door again, and Aaron thought, thank you very much, I'll pop my kart there, takes second place away. And now from defending to attacking for Oliver James Smith. He's checking behind, just seeing what kind of gap he has now back to 4th place. He doesn't want to let that negative momentum continue and drop him back further into the pack. Seems as though he's managed to stop it though, stays there in 3rd place. Just needs to get back into his groove now. He's still got just over 4 minutes left to go. Plenty of time to get something done here and try and find his way back up to the sharp end of the field. But on to lap number 8 we go, and it's Rocco Geraghty who now leads this race. Now can he start to break free? Like we were saying, Slipstream City in Honda racing. So it would lead me to believe that the answer to that question is probably no. And from a neutral's perspective, I hope it is no as well. But I know anyone who's supporting Rocco Geraghty will be hoping for the exact opposite. Down through the S is number 2 there. As the 125 has really closed in. It's been some great pace over the last couple of laps for Peter Webster. After he got to the front of the chasing pack, he's absolutely scampered off, and wide moment for second place. That was wide onto the grass there for Aaron Berridge when he held his hand up in dismay. Stupidly, I was looking at the timing screen at that moment, so I didn't see how that one occurred. I think you probably did on the live stream. Either way, feeling a bit of grief there is Aaron Berridge. He drops into 3rd place. That releases Oliver James Smith to look to chase down your race leader, Rocco Geraghty, yet again. But has he dropped too far back? Has he lost the slipstream to your race leader? Let's see how this plays out over the next couple of laps. We now look back to the battle for 3rd place. Aaron Berridge, after that bit of an off-track excursion, has fallen into the clutches of Peter Webster. Fantastic shots there from the drone as they head down through the second S's once more and through into sector number 3. Will the opportunity open up here for Peter Webster? He's had some great pace so far in this race. Can't seem to find a way past Aaron at the moment yet, and he's checking over the shoulder, seeing how it's all sorting itself out behind, and they are sorting themselves out behind. Matthew Plant, JJ Allen, and now Ashton Horspool getting involved with that one as well. Of course, Ashton had that difficult race start, lost 5 positions on the first lap of this one, but pace shining through for Ashton. He's made his way past both Matthew Plant and JJ Allen. He sort of now leads the charge towards our top 4. And gap is now just less than 0.8 of a second between Rocco Geraghty and Oliver James Smith. They head out of the S's once again, and there's a good 2-3 kart lengths between your top 2. I feel as though now Oliver James Smith will need a bit of a miracle here to close back up and be within touching distance of finding a way through to take this win in the final. It was a great win on circuit anyway in heat number 3. I haven't checked the official results just yet from that heat. But sadly, it might be having to settle for second place in this one. He's got the fastest lap as Oliver James Smith. And again, he's ducking that head down, trying to use any possible extra speed he can gain down the front straight to close in on Rocco Geraghty. And he has closed in. He's closed in by just over 0.2 on that last lap, and he's bringing some other drivers with him as well. All of the top 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th have all gained on the leader on that last lap around this Fulbeck kart circuit. And look at how much they're all beginning to close in as well. We've got 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th now, all joining into one train here as we close in towards 1 minute left to go. The crescendo is building here at Fulbeck in the Honda R200s. But who will find the race win in this one? Who will see the checkered flag first? We'll head through onto another lap. Driver's doing around 50 seconds. And as he crosses the line, there's 46 seconds on the board. I think this might be the penultimate lap of proceedings here in the R200s. And what's that gap looking like? It's down another 0.2. Down to 3.5 now between Rocco and Oliver at the sharp end. He's closing in as Oliver James Smith, but is he doing it fast enough? By my calculations, after this lap, he'll be in touching distance on the final lap. But of course, it's one thing catching another driver, it's a whole nother thing getting past. Now he checks over his shoulder once again, does Oliver James Smith. I think he'll know now that third place backwards are getting into their own battles here. He doesn't need to worry about them. Full focus on the drivers in front. But can he get close enough? It doesn't look as though he's closed in quite as much on this lap. We'll confirm as they come under the gantry. Timer ticking to 0. We are going to head on to the final lap now in Honda R200s. And it will be Rocco Geraghty who leads it onto it. And indeed, I was correct. That gap has opened up on the last lap. Fantastic lap from Rocco Geraghty. Extends by another 2/10, and that might just be what he needs here to lead the field home. Continuing to check over his shoulders, Oliver James Smith. I think he might have caused a bit of an issue for himself there, being so focused on the 3 in behind. They did reshuffle on the lap before last. Aaron Berridge still in 3rd, Peter Webster now in 4th with Ashton Horspool in 5th. JJ Allen on the last lap has got through on Matthew Plant. Down into sector number 3 then for the final time in this race. And can Rocco Geraghty hold on to it? It looks like he's done just enough. But of course, anything can happen through the last couple of corners. Sliding as much as you like there. They'll head through the last turn, down under the gantry for the final time. And it will be Rocco Geraghty who sees the checkered flag first and wins in the Honda R200s. Good racing there for Oliver James Smith to take home a 2nd place. I know we'll have been wanting for the win in that one. But really great racing at the sharp end in the Honda R200s there. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Aaron Berridge joining them on the podium. He was feeling a bit aggrieved there after his off-track excursion, but I'll leave that one up to the stewards if there was any foul play in that one. Either way, he takes 3rd place on the circuit. Peter Webster and Ashton Horspool round out the top 5. A good recovery drive there from Ashton to take 5th place. They were followed home by JJ Allen, Matthew Plant, Aidan Ingram, Carter Lundy, Hallie Finletter and Rebecca Restall there. Your 11 drivers in the Honda R200s. Good to see all of them making it to the checkered flag there in the Honda R200 final. Well, 2 finals already done and dusted then. We are flying through the schedule here this afternoon for round number 8 of the UK Kart Series here at Fulbeck. Up next is going to be race 39 of the weekend, and that'll be Junior Pro Kart Extreme. Their final is coming up in a couple of moments. Right then, drivers heading out on the dummy grid, getting ready for the final. Junior Pro Kart Extreme is coming up in a couple of moments' time. Your grid looks like this. Lewis Dean and Joshua Sullivan on the front row. Iron Bagger and Daruv Rout on row 2. Teddy Hall and Sebastian Thompson on row 3, with Liam Edmonds and Lorenzo Martin on row 4. Rowan Marshall and Finley Iron round up the top 10 there, followed by Archie Young, Thomas Stevens, Ashton Carmichael, Nicole Allardyce, then William Horton, Daniel Katazinski, Isaac Hobbs, then Mia Duffel, Joseph East, Finley Worthy, Charlie Brooks and Olivia Hall. That's your 22 kart grid here for Junior Pro Kart Extreme. Their final starts now. Green flag drops. We're racing once again here at Fulbeck. And you see the drivers all jumping in their seats there. They're not jumping for joy just yet. They're jumping to try and get as much power out of that Honda engine. A big crash. 2 drivers off down the front straight. Somehow they're not collected by anyone else. Well done to all the other drivers avoiding that one. And they press on down towards that first right-hander, of course, again, here in the Junior Pro Kart Extreme, avoiding that first little S's section. But we will take the second one on the first lap. Big jump over the curb there for your race leader. Still the number 13 of Joshua Sullivan, who's leading the way. More scrapping going on in the mid-pack. One driver getting forced off wide. You saw the driver who just gave him the hit check there, put the hand up to apologise, but it was too late for that apology. He was already off onto the green stuff. Loses a good number of places. We're 2 by 2 down into the boot for the first time here in Junior Pro Kart Extreme. And look at that gaggle of karts. An absolute swarm of Junior Pro Karts, heading through to the end of lap number 1. Right then, it's Joshua Sullivan leading the way, ahead of Lewis Dean and Iame Bambino. Rowan Marshall is up into 4th place. Rowan's gained 5 places on that first lap. Ashton Carmichael's gained 7, up into 6th place. Some big winners on this first lap. But sadly, it looks as though William Horton was one of the drivers off on that first lap. Trying to work out who the other driver was that was spinning off. Nicole Allardyce has dropped down, so has Finley Iron. So a couple of drivers in the wars on this first lap of proceedings, but already the top 3 have made a monstrous gap out at the sharp end. Joshua Sullivan, Lewis Dean and Iame Bambino are almost in a different postcode here in Junior Pro Kart Extreme after only 1 lap of racing. Rowan Marshall then to the front of that chasing pack in 4th place. He's got the route right in behind him. There they go through. That was the 2 drivers we were chatting about there, chasing down the top 3. You could see Rowan there pointing, gesticulating furiously ahead, wanting to try and catch those 3 leaders who are out ahead of him. I think realistically, biggest hope for them is that they start squabbling over the top 3 positions. That's the only way they're now going to chase them down through the 8 minutes that's still left in this final. Big gap down in behind them, and then that's sort of like the bottom end of the top 10, that is. As again, lovely pictures here from the drone. We're getting a lovely view of that massive group as they head down into the S's section now, side by side. Never works down into the S's. Thank goodness they get themselves back into single file racing. It's the 77 who leads that train. That's Finley Iron there in 14th, then ahead of Mia Duffel, Daniel Katazinski, Isaac Hobbs, Nicole Allardyce, Charlie Brooks, Joseph East and William Horton. All those drivers line astern as they head through into sector number 3 once more. There's your leader, Joshua Sullivan. What is his gap looking like now? It's just gone from 6/10 to 1.5 seconds. There's clearly been an issue on the last lap for Lewis Dean. He's dropped down to 3rd place. Iame Bambino has got through. So those 2 have been squabbling. They've swapped around positions, so it's worked out well for Iame Bambino in terms of getting 2nd place. However, has that battle thrown away the potential of a race victory here for either of those 2 drivers, as Joshua Sullivan gained nearly a 2nd on that last lap alone. He continues to press on the lead of this race. I will say, though, now that the 40 of Iame Bambino, or the 140 is on my timing, but now that he's got clear, he's finding some great pace. So let's see if he can close the gap here. Of course, started off this lap in the positions that they are currently still in. So totally clean laps for all those 3. Let's see how the pace differs between 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Joshua Sullivan will lead us on to lap number 5 of this race. And pretty much identical, to be fair. New fastest lap of the race of Joshua Sullivan, and Iame Bambino was only 100th slower, but he needs to be 100th faster. He needs to be a lot more than 100th faster if he wants to close in with just over 6 minutes left to go in this race. There are the top 3 continuing to press on in this one. And you can see those squabbles in packs behind still very much raging here in Junior Pro Kart Extreme. There is one of them heading down into the first long right-hander there through turn number 2. We do turn our attention back to the leaders for the moment, though. And now you can just see Iame Bambino, how much of a gap he is pulling out there in 2nd place. He's got a couple of kart lengths now on Lewis Dean. But Lewis Dean's got a nice gap then back to those 2 we've just seen go through your shot. Rowan Marshall and the route. They're still squabbling over 4th place, but a good 2 seconds back from Lewis Dean to those 2. So really, I think more than likely the top 3 to stay like this, but never say never. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I certainly don't want to commentary curse anyone out there on the black stuff today. So never say never. We'll see how this one continues to play out then as the rest of the drivers head down through into sector number 1 once more. In that battle after the 2 for 4th place, we've got Ashton Carmichael in 6th place, leading Sebastian Thompson, Teddy Hall, Liam Edwards, Lorenzo Martin, all battling down to the bottom end of the top 10. Wide moment there for one of our drivers in the rearward pack. I think that was Olivia Hall on the 54, potentially just going a little bit wide there. Mia Duffel making up a position because of it. She went round the outside into the 2nd S's. And indeed, they continue to squabble as they were. Yes, Olivia Hall down to 18th there. Just saw it out of my window. Mia Duffel has indeed got through. Sadly for the neutrals out there, that gap between your race leader and the battle for 2nd place continuing to increase, up to 1.7 seconds now after that last lap. However, Lewis Dean, new fastest lap of the race. Lewis Dean doing everything he can to close back in on Iame Bambino and retake what he believes should be his 2nd place. 50.721 for Lewis Dean versus a 50.936 for Joshua Sullivan and a 51 dead for Iame Bambino. 78 in the 10, I can see battling out of my race window as well as they're following these drivers through. And that is still your battle for 4th place that is raging on just behind this one. They head down through the boot once again. Here you see those two coming into your picture now, pretty much nose to tail between Rowan and Daruv. And then followed by the battle for fifth. That's still raging. That has still got a number of drivers involved in it. One looking to try and break away clear now as they head under the gantry once more. That is the 68 of Ashton Carmichael. Moving behind, though, down the inside into the first S's. That was Teddy Hall getting through on Sebastian Thompson. They're still squabbling on the exit, though. Trying to hold that inside line was Sebastian Thompson, or was Teddy Hall, sorry, trying to keep the place. Here we continue to watch nose to tail in the battle for fourth place, though, through the second S's once again. Rowan Marshall checking over the shoulder on the exit. Just about keeping Daruv route at bay. But for how much longer? There's still 3.5 minutes left to go in this final. He's done a great job of it so far, weathering the storm as Rowan Marshall. Daruv has been doing so much to try and find a way through, but Rowan has done a great job in keeping him behind. And there you go, you see him check over the shoulder again out of the final corner, just working out where his rival is, where he's slightly faster, where he's slightly slower, where he needs to get those elbows out. We're side by side and crash, contact into the first couple of corners, round into the barrier. That was the 5 of Liam Edmonds going round. I think that was a bit of an aggressive maneuver there between himself and Sebastian Thompson. Looked for the inside line, just wasn't quite close enough, but he'd already committed. And of course, turned in, did Sebastian Thompson. I'll just try and work out, because the 5 and the 4 were batting. I do believe it was the 5 that went round there, but the 5 was re-attacking. So it might have been a good exit off the final corner for Sebastian Thompson that saw him take the move, and Liam just trying his best to keep the foot in, keep himself alongside, but the gap just wasn't there. Door closed in his face, and round he went. On to lap number 10. We go here in Junior Pro Kart Extreme. We'll just check that all that information I just gave you was correct as they come under the gantry. No, it wasn't. Good to know. Sebastian Thompson it was. So there we go then. It was Sebastian Thompson with a bit of a late move to the inside there, and it was himself who went spinning round into the barrier. Liam Edmonds continues on in 8th place, unscathed. Quite luckily so, to be honest, because that could very well have easily been into the side, spun around for Liam Edwards into the wall, but actually it ended up being Sebastian Thompson spinning himself, getting up on the curb, losing the rear end, round into the barrier he went, but still continuing on. He's rejoined in 14th place as Sebastian Thompson. But he's only got a minute and a half to try and gain a few positions back and a few more points back from this final. Here come your leaders once more. Joshua Sullivan continuing to lead this race. Gap has closed up a little bit once again. It's now Iron Bagger with the fastest lap of the race, and he's got within 1/10 of a second of his personal best in this race on the last lap. But I think it might just be a little bit too little too late here for Iron Bagger. And Lewis Dean following in tow as well. Those top 3, inseparable in terms of pace. Only drivers who are consistently down in the 50s, and not just that, they're down in the 50.7s and 50.8 consistently as well. We've just had a contact warning come through for the 93 of Charlie Brooks, so Charlie just needing to be a little bit careful. Bit of a switch around on the last lap as well. Ashton Carmichael has lost out to Teddy Hall and Liam Edmonds, so Ashton getting shuffled back into 8th place now as Teddy and Liam both find a way through. Here come your drivers still battling over 4th. Rowan Marshall still ahead of Daruv route somehow. Every time we look back to them, Daruv is putting the pressure on, but just not able to find the opportunity to get past. They're inseparable on circuit, and they're inseparable in pace as well. There comes Teddy Hall and Liam Edmonds after they got past Ashton Carmichael. Is it Ashton in behind, though? No, it's not. Ashton dropping down the order then. Is there an issue for Ashton Carmichael? I think there might just be. He's not come across our timing line at the moment. I'm looking out for him, but I cannot see his number coming around the final corner. So sadly, it looks like Ashton Carmichael out of this race right at the dying moments. Here we continue to watch that battle for 4th place, though. The 78 of Rowan Marshall trying to keep Daruv route behind as the leaders head on through. They will see the last lap board in a couple of moments' time. Through the final corner they come. Joshua Sullivan leads us onto it then. He's got 900 metres to hold on here to the race victory in Junior Pro Kart Extreme. Well, he's done it already for 12 laps. I'm sure one more isn't going to hurt too much as we've got a yellow flag. There's one driver parked up to the right-hand side. That might just be Ashton Carmichael, who's parked up at the side of the road there. Jumps over the fence of freedom, and contact I've just seen down through the first couple of corners. That was high up in the order. I think that was the battle for 4th place. Yes, it was the battle for 4th. I think Rowan Marshall's gone round there. Rowan Marshall, I think, has been spun round by Daruv route down to the first couple of corners. We will double check that when they come through under the gantry once again. There's the 78 and the 10. Oh no, so they are still battling, so it must have been slightly behind them as the driver has come round. We'll double check when they come across the line anyway. Lots of calamities on this final lap. Couple of drivers falling by the wayside, but here comes your race winner. Under the gantry comes Joshua Sullivan to win the final in Junior Pro Kart Extreme. Great race, well managed from Joshua Sullivan. Never seemed under pressure. Lewis Dean started trying to fight with Iron Bagger at the final moments there, but couldn't find a way through. Now, who is it that's going to drop down the order? It was the battle for 6th place, so only just behind what I thought it was. So Teddy Hall was spun round by Liam Edmonds. Teddy Hall managed to get back on circuit really quickly and did hold on to 6th place, so well done to Teddy Hall there for getting it back onto the circuit after issues there down at the first S's. But there we go then, your top 3. Your podium for Junior Pro Kart Extreme here at Fulbeck in the UK Kart Series with Joshua Sullivan, Iron Bagger, and Lewis Dean. Rowan Marshall and Daruv Rout round out the top 5. They were followed home by Liam Edmonds, then Teddy Hall, Archie Young, Daniel Katazinski, then Finley Iron rounded out the top 10. He was followed by Isaac Hobbs, Nicole Allardyce, then Mia Duffel, William Horton, Charlie Brooks, Olivia Hall, Joseph East, Thomas Stevens, Lorenzo Martin, then Sebastian Thompson and Ashton Carmichael. Looks as though we lost Sebastian Thompson and Ashton Carmichael, though, in the dying moments of that race. Well, a very exciting one there in Junior Pro Kart Extreme, to say the least. And let's see how we continue on then. I think we're already halfway through the finals here at Fulbeck. I can't quite believe it. Thick and fast here at Fulbeck for the UK Kart Series, round number 8. 3 more finals left to go, and we'll start off then with the Honda Cadet 200s. They'll head out on circuit for their final in a couple of moments' time. Honda Cadets out on circuit then, they're getting ready for their final. Championship leader Francesco De Caro lines up on pole position. He's got Riley Mirthwaite alongside him. Henry Colborne and Alistair Saunders are on row 2, with Charlie White and Oliver Vickers on row 3. Bradley Sutton and David Kiyoko on row 4. And Seth Wright and Jaden Bond round up the top 10 on row 5. Then it's Jensen Charity and Oscar Somerset, Nikita Robertson, Louis Dawson, then Phoebe Shelton, Oscar Wills, Isaac Young, Ziona Ono and Ada Wright rounds out the 19 karts on the grid for this one. Drivers look to the green flag, and it drops. We're racing here in the Honda Cadets, and through we go down into the first couple of corners, of course skipping out the first S's once again. Look at the train, the slipstream train, up to the first right-hander and getting done off pole position. There is Francesco De Caro, contacted round, 2 drivers round into the first corner. Who was that heading off wide? As we've got way more drivers off. 1 managed to rejoin, but 3 have gone off behind in sympathy. And they are well off into the kitty litter there on the outside of the right-hander. That's going to take them an age to rejoin the circuit, rejoin the action. There's Francesco De Caro back down the inside. No, sorry, it's Ronnie Mirthwaite who's back down the inside. He was the one that lost out on that race start. got absolutely done up to the top section of the circuit. Tries to retake second there, can't quite do it. And that'll be Henry Corborn back through into second place. One driver getting a bit of an elbow there down into the boot. Spanish Archer for one driver as he shuffled wide. And we'll see how they end up after lap number 1 then. It is still Francesco De Caro leading the way. Henry Corborn in second. Riley Murthwaite third. Then Alistair Saunders, Bradley Sutton, David Kioka, Charlie White, Jaden Bond, Oscar Somerset and Nikita Roberts. Your top 10. Now Henry Corborn, Riley Murthwaite and Alistair Saunders need to work together here, or Francesco De Caro's going to scamper off. He's already a second clear after lap number 1. But like we say, Slipstream City and the Honda Cadet, so let's just hope that those three can work together and not let this championship leader run away with this one. Move still going on outside my window. Oh, door closed straight in the face of one of the drivers there. There's a nice little hug there in the boot. Good to see the camaraderie between parents, mechanics, drivers and whatnot. Helping each other out as we head through the racing action. Lovely drone shot down the front straight as we head on to a new lap of this race. What's the gap looking like now? It's still about a second. New fastest lap of the race though from Riley Murthwaite. Now, will Riley be smart in this one and push Henry Corborn towards the leader, or will Riley just decide, nope, I want the track position, I want to be in front, I'm going to get past you first time of asking? Well, not happened just yet then. Up and under attempt though. Maybe Riley might lose a position. Alistair Saunders getting involved. No, sorry, that's slightly further back, isn't it? That's bottom end of the top 10 as they continue on side by side to the bottom end. David Kioka under a bit of pressure and overtaken there by Charlie White. Charlie moves his way up into 7th position. Here are 2nd, 3rd and 4th though, still trying to chase down Francesco De Caro. He doesn't seem to need any sort of slipstream. Francesco's got amazing pace in that Honda Cadet 200 car underneath him. See if he's opened the gap up any further here. It was almost 1 second dead. No, it's down to 8/10. And you can see there, down into the first S's, Riley Murthwaite pushing the rear bumper of Henry Corborn. They've raced in these Honda Cadets plenty of times. They know what they're doing. And Riley knows the only opportunity here to get the race win is to work with Henry and Alistair behind him. Heading through into the second S's once again then. Let's see, we'll keep an eye on how much that gap continues to diminish over these few laps. I'll just try and keep an eye on the battles in behind as well. David Kioka's got back through on Charlie White in the opening part here of lap number 4. Kioka back through, but again, not able to work together. Good battle in behind as well. Oscar Somerset, Nikita Roberts and Jensen Charity, I believe that is, battling over 9th place. I think an issue maybe with timing for Oscar Somerset. We'll see when he comes over under the gantry whether that changes at all. Right, what's the gap looking like now? It's still 8/10. Henry and Riley need to find a bit more pace here if they want to chase up to the rear bumper of Francesco. It's not enough at the moment. It is not enough. Still just over 6 minutes left to go though. Drivers battling side by side. Up into the right-hander. Aggressive move to the inside there. That's the 48 and the 63. That's Nikita Roberts now side by side with Jaden Bond in the battle for 9th place. But Jaden snuck back ahead as they go down into the second S's. Jaden just about holding on. And it's the 44 right in front of them of Oscar Somerset. So we've got Somerset, Bond, Roberts and Charity here in a 4-way squabble at the bottom end of the top 10. Lovely replica Lewis Hamilton helmet there on the 44 of Oscar Somerset. He's also on the number 44. No prizes for who his favourite driver is, I don't think, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar doing a good job there though in 8th place. He's under some serious pressure though to keep those few drivers in behind as they're still squabbling under the gantry once again. Actually, might be helped here a bit by the 48 of Jaden Bond, because Jaden defends there down into the first S's, but up and under on the exit. He's got the inside line, has Nikita Roberts going down the inside, trying it anyway as they head through. Nikita Roberts looking to steal away 9th place as they head down now into the second S's. I'm watching outside of my window. We keep our eyes on this leading battle. How do they sort themselves out in that group? The 63 is indeed through, so Nikita Roberts up into 9th place. There is Corborn and Murthwaite. Gap was down to 7/10 now, so a 10th gained on the last lap. It looks as though Riley's dropped off the back of Henry ever so slightly, but that gap, by my eye line anyway, seems to have diminished. And it has. Less than half a second now between Francesco De Caro and Henry Corborn. This is all building up to an exciting last couple of laps here in the Honda Cadet 200s. Drivers like Alistair Saunders, Bradley Sutton, even maybe David Kioka, they're within a sniff of it as well. If it all kicks off over the last couple of laps, they'll lose so much time. that could just reel in a few more drivers who want to join the party. Just over 4 minutes left to go in this one. We are well over half race distance here in the Honda Cadet. Francesco De Caro looking to add another final victory to his tally this season. As we say, he's come into this round 91 points in the lead of the championship. Now that's certainly not insurmountable, but he'll be looking to wrap this one up. He's taken the last two final victories in round 6 and round 7. Can he make it 3 from 3 in a row though at round 8 here at Fulbeck? Through they go onto lap number 8. Gap extends once again, does Francesco. Usually I find when I'm talking about someone on the commentary, they end up doing terribly, but I seem to have commentators blessed him somehow on that lap for Francesco, as he's gained a little bit of time out there, gains just over a 10th on Henry Colborne. Through the second S as they go once again. Henry, his eyes absolutely locked on the rear bumper of the driver ahead of him, but I think crucially he's lost his rear gunner a bit here of Riley Murthwaite. Riley's just dropped a few kart lengths off of the back of him. It's about the same sort of gap now. I think 5 tenths, 6 tenths between first and second, and then between second and third. Alistair Saunders in a bit of no man's land at the moment, 2 seconds behind this battle for the lead, but then a further 2 seconds back to Bradley Sutton in 5th place. Leaders come under the gantry yet again, and again it extends ever so slightly, less than a 10th of a second, but crucially it does still extend here. Francesco De Caro, a drive beyond his years here in Honda Cadet, dealing with the pressure fantastically well, and just doing everything he needs to keep Henry Colborne at arm's length. Good battles going on further down the order as well. Still, that battle for 8th is raging on. Oscar Somerset, Jaden Bond, Nikita Robertson, Jensen Charity, all still in an absolute train. They're heading down towards the second S's, I can see outside my commentary box. 48 and the 63 in a proper ding-dong battle. So Oscar Somerset has managed to break away now as Jaden Bond turned his attention to Nikita Roberts. We saw that a couple of laps ago, that Jaden Bond was more looking behind him than ahead, and that really has benefited Oscar Somerset now, as he's looking to hold on to 8th place here with 2 minutes left to go. Again, extends, does the gap between the two leaders. Funnily enough, the gap between first and second and the gap between second and third increased by the same exact amount on the last lap. 0.172 increase for both gaps. But again, Francesco De Caro just doing everything he needs to do. There is the move down the inside, up through turn number 2. Finally gets it done, does Nikita Roberts. Breaks their way through into 9th place, does Nikita. But now Jaden Bond turns his attention from defending to attacking, but no, now getting attacked through the exit of the S's. Round the outside, will try the number 5. Will he keep the nose in? I don't think he quite has been able to do so there, Jensen Charity. As he bound battles with Jaden Bond, Nikita Roberts with the opportunity to scamper off though in 9th place. You can see them now coming through into your camera shot. They were absolutely nose to tail there heading through into the last couple of corners. Now what's that gap looking like? Okay, positive for the neutral, or positive for the Henry Colborne camp. A 1/4 of a second gain on that last lap, so a small mistake for Francesco De Caro. Could this be the chink in the armour that Henry Colborne needs here to size up a move going into the last couple of laps? There's 50 seconds on the board, so this will be the 3rd to last lap of the race. He'll head on to the penultimate lap next time around under the gantry, but I think really Henry needs a very similar lap again on this one to try and launch an attack on the final lap. It doesn't look like he's closing in quite as quickly as he did on the last time around the Fulbeck circuit. Round into the final corner they come once again. Back into my view here from the commentary box. Under the gantry they go. What's the gap looking like now? It's gone down, but not enough for Henry Colborne. It's not gone down quickly enough. This will be the penultimate lap of proceedings, and Henry Colborne needs to be on a mission here over these next 2 laps if he wants any opportunity at the race win. Can Francesco De Caro make it 3 in a row in terms of final victories in the Honda Cadet 200 in the UK Kart Series in 2025 and continue his press towards the championship here in the Honda Cadets? As I say, leading by 91 points coming into round 8 here today. And if you can put another final victory on the board, another 100 points under his belt from this one, he'll be sitting pretty going into the final round. Of course, it won't fully take the pressure off going into the last round next month, but it will certainly help. Right then, drivers under the gantry, last lap begins, and yet again, the gap barely moves between De Caro and Colborne. Sadly, Murthwaite has dropped off the pace of these two over the last couple of laps, I think he's now consolidating a third place out there. We head through into turn number 2 yet again. And just look, a couple of kart lengths still between Takara and Colborne. Not even a last lap send from Colborne. There's not even an opportunity for that here. He's just too far back. He needs a mistake from Takaro, but I'm not sure it's going to come. Through into sector number 3 we go yet again. Through the right-hander, Takaro has led this one perfectly from start to finish. Francesco Takaro into the boot, and Colborne is not close enough. Through they'll go then. Out of the final corner will come Francesco Takaro. He makes it 3 from 3 in final victories in the UK Kart Series. Francesco Takaro wins again here at Fulbeck. Henry Colborne not able to launch an attack, has to settle for second place, and Riley Murthwaite, after early squabbles, sits back there in third place and ends up finishing about 3 seconds off of that battle for the race win. That was your top 3 then in Honda Cadet 200s. Alistair Saunders and Bradley Sutton your top 5. David Kioka in 6th place, followed by Charlie White in 7th. Oscar Somerset in 8th. Nikita Roberts and Jaden Bond rounded out the top 10. Jensen Charity in 11th. We've just seen Oliver and Oscar swap round for 12th there on the final lap. Oliver Vickers getting through on Oscar Wills. Oliver Vickers takes 12th place there in the dying moments. Well done to the number 31. Isaac Young comes across the line in 14th ahead of Phoebe Shelton. Then Ada Wright and Louis Dawson, you just saw there go under the gantry. There's Zaya Ono and Seth Wright, sadly, we lost with about 6 laps ago, sadly. So middle of the race there, we lost the 1-2-1 of Seth Wright. So 18 of the 19 starters in that one, making it to the checkered flag. But yet again, fastest lap of the race and victory for Francesco Takaro. He adds more points to his championship tally, and he'll be the one to watch heading into round 9 next month to try and wrap up that title in the Honda Cadet 200s at the UK Kart Series. Right then, on to yet another final. We're done and dusted for the Honda Cadet 200s. Only 2 more finals to go here from Fulbeck. Next one up out on circuit will be our senior Pro Karts for their final. Right then, drivers heading on round to the grid then. I've got to run through this pretty quickly. Pole position, it is James Stradwell, John Hogan alongside her, then it's Zach Dawson, Carl Ruddock, Max Mannanon, then Alfie Wilkes, Mick Lord, Ben Morby, Jack Hewland, Riley Bowen, then Bradley Rowan, Ronnie Rowe, Finley Marshall, Aaron Lord, Steve Nichols, John T. Beswick, then Jack Dunbobbin, Danny Bean, Colin McCarthy, Christian Bellaby, then Reece Bright, Archie Cotton, Ollie Clegg, Tom Hewland, Alfie Wiltshire, Bo Harbour, Oliver Paul, Gavin Pike, Hayden Burling, Andrea Bararu, Mastita and Sean Deacon. 31 drivers on the grid here for the Senior Pro Kart final. Wow, this is going to be mighty exciting. I think max we've seen is about 20. Let's see how 32 go on this lap around Fulbeck. We start the racing action then, green flag. And drivers, look at this, using the slipstream to perfection. Who are you going to work with down to the first corner? Who's going to assist and who's going to hinder you? All closing up at the apex there, down through the right-hander. There was a bit of contact. There's more contact on the exit. One driver goes up on 2 wheels. Another flies off to the exit there. He'll rejoin the action, but right at the back of the pack. A couple of drivers losing out on this first lap already. They all have to get back into single file through the S's. One driver goes straight through. That was the 75 there of Finley Marshall. Just going, oh, I don't want to deal with that S's. I'll just cut straight through the middle. I think he'll have to drop back into his original position there, though. Or he'll be getting himself a big penalty. Through down to sector number 3, into the boot they go for the first time then. Exiting the final corner, they'll come back into my view here in the commentary box. And who still leads this one? It's a 73 then, John Hogan from the front row of the grid. Leads us down into the S's for the first time. 63 and 22, side by side into the S's. Aggressive move there from Aaron Lord. He gets it done. Lovely under brakes there from Aaron Lord. Takes 4th place away from Alfie Wilkes, but Wilkes back down the inside. Great racing there, up and under from the 63. Aaron will try and get the exit. He does. He'll get alongside, but the 22 of Alfie Wilkes has the inside line for the S's. Gets it back. Awesome racing here in the Senior Pro Karts. Squabble over 4th place. Big slap of the curb there from the 22 on the exit. That's not going to be good for the struts and all things on the kart mechanical. But anyway, if it works, it works for the 22 of Alfie Wilkes. He holds on to 4th place despite that aggressive move there on lap number 2 from Aaron Lord. He's still just ahead of Mick Lord, Carl Ruddock in that train as well. Really, there's no point talking about trains because they're all still in one big train. But John Hogan still leading this race by just over 0.8 of a second. It's James Drabwell in third place, though, who has just got the fastest lap of this race. You can see him there right in behind Zach Dawson. Now, will he push Zach or will they battle? Let's wait and see. There's a battle. Down the inside goes the 86. Carl Ruddock through on Mick Lord. Textbook manoeuvre there from the 86 of Carl Ruddock. He makes his way up into 6th place. It seemed as though Mick didn't fight that one too much. Wanted to keep in this train, keep the momentum up, and stick with the 22 of Alfie Wilkes, who still leads this little train from 4th place backwards. Sniff at the move there from Carl Ruddock after getting through on one Lord. He's trying to get another now. This time it's Aaron who he finds himself stuck in behind. He thought about it. Down into sector number 2 there. Couldn't quite get it done. But that's what John Hogan needs to do, though. New fastest lap of the race from John Hogan, but it is only 6 thousandths quicker than James Stradwell and 7 thousandths quicker than Zach Dawson. So those top 3 inseparable in terms of pace. These 3 inseparable in terms of track position. They're crossing all over, left, right and centre. We've got one driver facing the wrong direction down through the first S's. We'll see who that is at the end of this lap. Those 3 were squabbling super hard at the front of this train in the battle for 4th place. It seems as though they've all managed to sort themselves out by the end of it, though. I think Carl Ruddock has gotten through, though. Yes, he has. So Carl up into 5th place. He relegated one Lord back. He's done it to another one. Aaron Lord down into 6th. Mick Lord still there in 7th place. Under the gantry goes the race leader again, the number 73, cracking on with this one. 1.1 seconds now in the lead as he sets yet another fastest lap of this race. 51 dead from John Hogan. No one can even get close to that sort of pace. Domination in this one from John at the moment. Look at the battling though, nearly contact. Front to rear there between the 22 and the 86. Carl Ruddock going left, going right, trying to find a way through, but couldn't do it. Alfie Wilkes holds the inside line, holds the place for now anyway. But it's these 2 at the front sort of accept that they're now battling for 4th place. That's bringing more drivers into the fray. The number 22 of Alfie Wilkes doesn't want to let anyone through, and that means more drivers getting involved with the party here for P4. Less than 6 minutes left to go in this race of the second to last final here at Fulbeck. And again, you can see there, Alfie Wilkes is trying to make his car as wide as possible as they head down through the boot on lap number 5. We head on to lap number 6. And this battle for 4th still raging on. Thinking about a move down the inside there into the S's was the 37 of Ben Morby. Eyeing up a move there on Mick Lord, but wasn't able to make it stick. And again, defending there into the right-hander. The driver leading the train of Alfie Wilkes. The 17 of Mick Lord again getting roughed up by Ben Morby. Ben chomping at the bit to get past there. But still couldn't find opportunity contact. That'd be 2 drivers round. How have they not been collected there? All drivers going straight on, avoiding the incident entirely. I think that was the right decision there from those drivers, just to head straight on. But that move was never, ever going to work. The door was always going to close, and it did. Both drivers finding themselves facing the wrong direction down at the second S's. I'll double check for you exactly who that was as they come under the gantry to finish lap number 6 of that race. And who is it that drops down the order? Ben Morby, Riley Bowen. Yeah, that is it. Riley Bowen rejoined in 17th, Ben Morby in 18th, and Ronnie Rowe in 19th, getting caught up in that as well. So 3 drivers losing out. More contact up at the right-hander. It's all getting a bit aggressive with 3 wide on the exit. This surely can't end well. Somehow they get back in to correct track position. They'll fly down into the S's once again, but it's all getting a bit scrappy. There's a big wobble on the grass there for the driver in the following pack. Gets it back on the black stuff and rejoins for now. There's so much going on here in Senior Pro Karts, I can't even keep on top of it. 4 or 5 different massive battle packs, and all going wrong here over the last couple of laps for a few of our drivers. How has that now shuffled up the order? Danny Bean in 8th place now as the fastest lap of the race. Very impressive. First driver into the 49s, and by quite some margin as well. 49.873 for Danny Bean. Finds himself in 8th place with side-by-side down into the first S's. Big wobble over the curb for the 27 of Reese Bright, that was, making a move on Steve Nichols. They're still as they were heading down into the right-hander. There's the 75 of Finley Marshall at the front of the following little pack with Jack Hewlin, Conor McCarthy and Bradley Rowe. Bradley trying to make his way back through after those issues earlier on. Round the outside into the S's. What an awesome move that was. Fantastic overtake there. Who did make that one stick? following this massive group. I think it was the 171 of Jack Hewland who made that move. So up into, well, it was, two more drivers off. That's the 52 onto the grass. That is Riley Bowen, who was already off a couple of laps ago. He's off again. Contact with another driver. Yellow flags down through sector number 2. And it's been chaos in the middle part of this Senior Pro Kart final. Still John Hogan leading the race, though. I always say in karting, if I don't speak about you at all in the race, you either done incredibly well or pretty poorly. For John Hogan, it's definitely the former of those two. 1.8 seconds in the lead. Hasn't had to think about James Stradwell, Zach Dawson, or anyone else in this field since, really, we kicked this one off. And as we went to green flag racing conditions, 2.5 minutes left to go. Battles continuing on. Still yellow flags down through this right-hander, as you can see there. A kart stuck in the barrier on the outside. They won't be going any further. And I think that must be Ben Morby. So yeah, Ben in the wars out there today. We saw him in 2 different incidents, and sadly out of the races of the 37, we'd already lost 2 Olivers, Oliver Hall and Ollie Clegg as well from this one. So 3 drivers that we've lost from the field here. In Senior Pro Karts as well. Look at that lock-up heading down into the first S's. That was Tokyo Drift style from the driver at the front of this train. Well held, sir. That was beautiful from the 23. That was a Danny Bean. Danny has that fastest lap still, and we can see the commitment from Danny behind the wheel of his number 23 into every braking zone. He's got it fully sideways. Well, at the moment, it's a P6 for him. As we've gone to Battenberg flag conditions then. We are under Battenberg flag conditions, as that's why we've got a kart stuck on the inside of the first S's. That would be a dangerous place, even under yellows, so understandably so. Drivers getting assisted back onto the black stuff. I do think the driver's back on. Yes, he is. Barrier's just being fixed now, but we're under Battenberg conditions. So race neutralized, effectively safety car conditions, if you've not seen a Battenberg before. But, honestly, biggest loser from that will be John Hogan. His gap was 1.8 seconds. That'll get reduced to 0 now as they all close up on each other. We're dropping down towards 1 minute left to go in this race. So, really, best case scenario, if that barrier is fixed, which it looks to have been fixed now, is we might get 1, maybe 2 laps here. A real last lap dash to the checkered flag if we do go back to green flag racing conditions. And poor John Hogan worked throughout that race to build up that big gap. Well, it's gone to absolutely nothing now, thanks to that Battenberg flag. Let's wait and see how it plays out then. There's Finley Marshall. He must have been the driver who was off. Yes, so Finley Marshall, 75, was the driver who was off in the barrier down through the first S's. He has rejoined the action. Not sure he'll quite have enough time here to join the back of the train, but we will wait and see. He's hammering on round to try and get back to the train before we go to green flag conditions. Will we go to green flag conditions? Of course, it's +1 lap. We're dropping down towards 10 seconds to go here. I'm not seeing any potential of a green flag, but we will wait and see. Still Battenberg on the gantry outside my commentary box window. It's going back to green, ladies and gentlemen, as they cross the line at 0 seconds. It's the last lap of the race. How are we going to fight this one out? Down into the S's for the first time on the final lap. Reese Bright, it says, is in the lead of this race now. Is Reese. We continue on. Last lap of racing positions. What's happened to John Hogan then? Is that an issue with his... Oh, I haven't... nope, totally my fault. That was me looking at the wrong part of the live timing. It is John Hogan still in the lead, and he's under loads of pressure from James Stradwell. He'd worked so hard to get that 1.8 second gap, and now he's having to defend like his life depends on it. John leads us down to into sector number 2. It'll have to be a cheeky move here for James Stradwell to steal away the lead. He's right there, right pushing him down into the last couple of corners. Through the boot they go. Will it open up? It'll need to be an up and under. It will be an up and under from James Stradwell. Can he get alongside though? They head through into the final corner. He's on the outside. He'll get squeezed to the grass. He might lose second place. Across the line they go. 3 wide for second place, and Zach Dawson steals it on the line. John Hogan holds the victory. It was a great attempt there from James Stradwell, but he put himself in the firing line there on the outside. John was always going to squeeze into the grass. That's exactly what he did. And Zach Dawson said thank you very much, slipped on through. Carl Ruddock nearly did the same, but James just about keeping his nose ahead across the line and just about stays on the overall podium. My goodness. A last lap dash to the finish there in Senior Pro Cars. It doesn't get much more exciting than that. But luckily for John Hogan anyway, he still held on to it despite late calamities. A Battenberg flag is never what you want to see when you're 1.8 seconds in the lead, but John did a great job defending. He takes home the win. Zach Dawson and Jay Stradwell joining on the podium, followed by Carl Ruddock. Then it was Mick Lord, Danny Bean, Aaron Lord, Alfie Wilkes, Reese Bright, Bradley Rowe, Connor McCarthy, John T. Beswick, Jack Hewland, Ronnie Rowe, Alfie Wiltshire, Tom Hewland, Riley Bowen, then Steve Nichols, Max Manion, then Hayden Burling, Archie Cotton, Christian Bellaby, Andrea Baharu Mastita, then Bo Harbour, Jack Dunbobbin, then Gavin Pike, Sean Deacon. Finley Marshall was the last of our finishes in that one in 28th place because, of course, sadly, we lost Ben Morby, Oliver Hall, and Ollie Clegg from that one. 28 of our 31 drivers who started the race did make it to the finish. And what a finish it was there. But it was taken by John Hogan in the end. Well done to number 73, weathering the storm there through that final lap. I thought there was going to be crazy sends and shenanigans from the drivers behind, but they all kept it nice and respectful. And just unfortunate there for James Stradwell, getting forced out wide through the final corner. Understandably so from John Hogan, just lost in second place at the dying moments. Well, there we go then. Senior Pro Kart's done and dusted. Wow, what a race finish that was. And we've only got one more race still to come then, ladies and gentlemen. One more final here today from round 8 of the UK Kart Series here from Fulbeck, and it will be the BWRs and BWR Juniors. They're up next. First, third, fifth, and sixth, all involved in the senior class. Second, fourth, seventh, and eighth, all in the junior class. So makes it nice and exciting for us. Let's see how we go then. Green flag being dropped. We're racing for the last time here at Fulbeck. Down through, all the way through to that right-hander will go once again. And will it still be Alistair Tinker who leads us through by the end of the first lap? He holds that inside line as the 64. He holds the lead round the outside, attempting there to see O-plate, but he gets chucked off wide. Does Brandon Edwards. Goes through the dusty stuff on the outside there. Kept it all facing the right direction though, so well done to the O-plate. He'll continue on, but drops down to the bottom end of the order. Oh, was that the 0 Brandon Edwards? Was that the 6 of Phil Waters potentially? I will double check that when we come to the end of lap number 1. as there's more drivers coming in after their finals. This is the last one of the weekend, though, ladies and gentlemen, so strap in for this one. Just less than 10 minutes still left to go. Alistair Tinker with a great start to this one will lead us through onto lap number 2. He's still being chased, though, by the 23 of John Nuttall. So, no, it was the 6, I think, of Phil Waters who went off-track excursion there on the first lap. Apologies, only Brandon Edwards fans. He's still there in 4th place in that all-white kart. He's chasing William Omar. So those two in the junior class. John Nuttall in the seniors got through on William Omar on the race start. And now John Nuttall chasing Alistair Tinker. What's the pace going to be like between those two, though? It was just under half a second after the first lap of proceedings. How will that change through lap number 2? Tinker a good few tenths faster on that first lap, as I say. William Omar getting reeled in by Brandon Edwards, but can Brandon size up a move anytime soon? And now Danny Elson in 5th is looking to chase him down and get involved once again. Just over a 10th gain on that last lap then for John Nuttall. Could we have a battle on for the race victory here in the BWR Senior class? Through into turn 2 we go yet again here. And down through into the second S's. Again, he did close in ever so slightly, but still just under a 4/10 gap between Tinker and Nuttall. Nowhere close enough just yet to size up any sort of manoeuvres. And you can see that squabble over 3rd place between Omar and Edwards. Danny Elson now getting involved. But they are definitely falling off the back of our top 2 still. I've got to say, these karts sound absolutely awesome outside of my commentary box window. They scream like old 90s karts to these BWRs. And they are great to listen to. They're great to watch as well as you're being treated to the action from wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us here for round number 8 of the UK Kart Series here from Fulbeck. If you weren't able to make it to the circuit this time, that's why we bring you the action here from all the finals at the UK Kart Series. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring you all of the racing action in 2026. And that's why you should subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of that racing action coming your way next year. Plenty of action still to come, though, here from round number 8 as this battle continues to hot up. And Danny Elson very much making it a Brandon Edwards sandwich here in the battle for 3rd place. Omar still at the front of the train, but for how much longer? You see there Brandon Edwards wanting Danny Elson to work together with him. I'm not sure if Danny will listen, though. As he continues to close in, he seems to have slightly more pace than the 2 ahead of him. And just as I say that, Phil Waters now seems to be closing in as well. He's closed in yet again on that last lap by a 1/4 of a second. Here's the battle for the lead, though. And crucially, it was a little bit more time gained yet again from John Nuttall. He's not quite able to think about a move just yet, but he's getting closer. He's getting into a position where he can make the opportunities for himself. And when will they open up for the number 23? They're properly gapping that battle for 3rd place now. It was just less than 3 seconds as they went on to lap number 4. Or lap number 5, I should say, as they come to the end of lap number 5. What's that gap going to be? Through the final corner come our 2 leaders yet again. Bit of a wobble there, to be honest, from both of them out of that corner. Trying to hold as much speed as they can through that long left-hander. Trying to keep it absolutely flat. But both having a bit of a rear-end wobble. Both holding it, though. Both continuing on through onto lap number 6. That battle for 3rd place, so getting closer than ever. Surely it's only a matter of time until one of them pulls the trigger and goes for a move. Will it be Brandon Edwards? Will it be Danny Elson? Will Phil Waters close in and decide he wants to scrap as well? We're closing in towards half race distance here in the BWRs. And half race distance of the last final of the weekend here from Fulbeck. Here it is then. Attempt there on corner exit. Defends, does William Omar. Brandon Edwards has a sniff at the move. He's going to get walloped, though. Down through the final couple of corners. Through the boot they go. Danny Elson tries to make the most of it, but can't. Sits back in behind once again. And there you can see the frustration from Brandon Edwards. Putting his fist in the air, basically asking, why did you do that? We need to work together here to get past William Omar. William is defending. He knows there's no way they're going to be catching Alistair Tinker and John Nuttall. They are in the battle for 3rd place. William's currently in it, so why would he want to move aside and let them all through? He's going to defend like his life depends on it. So Brandon then saying to Danny, why are you attacking me? We could both get through on William here. But of course, it's always a very different mentality when you're the one ahead in the train versus when you're the one behind. When you're the one ahead, you're thinking, why are you attacking me, mate? We could work together. When you're the one behind going, why are you trying to tell me to work together? I don't want to do that. You're still ahead of me. As here they continue to squabble down through the boot yet again. There are the 2 leaders. Checks over the shoulder again, does Alistair Tinker. That gap now less than 0.2 of a second between Tinker and Nuttall. Through the S's they go yet again, then on to lap number 8 in this final. And when will the trigger be pulled here by John Nuttall? He's waited in the wings so far in this race. He's only got 4 minutes to try and pull something out of the bag here and steal away the race win from Alistair Tinker. William Omar still leading that train just in behind. Under so much pressure though. I've got to say, fair play to Brandon Edwards at the moment. He's dealing with that pressure really well from Danny Elson behind. Elson seems to have just a little bit more pace. Can't find a way through. But Brandon Edwards is having to work on 200% brain capacity at the moment, thinking about William Omar ahead, but also Danny Elson right in behind, chomping at his rear bumper. 2 leaders out of the first S's yet again. It just doesn't seem that John Nuttall can get himself quite close enough to go for it under brakes just yet. He's lost a little bit of time on that last lap, just over 1/10 of a second. It's back up to 3/10 now, the gap between Tinker and Nuttall as they head through the second S's. William Omar being lent on there by Brandon Edwards through the second S's, but again, not able to find a way through. Almost on top of his rear axle there was Brandon Edwards on William Omar, but door not able to be opened by the O-plate, and William Omar continues to hold not only 3rd place overall in this race, but the lead in the junior class. That driver right behind him is another one in the junior class, hence why he's wanting to keep him behind. Leaders heading through onto lap number 10 then of this one. They've got a good 8-second gap now ahead of this squabble headed up by William Omar. Look at how the attention has turned though. Danny Elson was all over the back of Brandon Edwards only a couple of moments ago, but now he's looking behind. He's looking at Phil Waters, the driver he's battling with in the senior class, and this will be over the last place on the podium in the senior class between the 212 and the number 6. Of course, Phil was shuffled onto the dusty stuff on the outside of turn 2 on lap 1. He's made his way back up to the back of this squabble very, very nicely. But again, as we've seen throughout these finals here at Fulbeck, it's very much one thing catching, a whole other thing passing. Doesn't seem to be the easiest circuit to get overtakes done. You've got to be super, super committed. Well, I guess unless you're in junior pro cars, because that was just a ridiculous race. But anyway, and the seniors as well. BWRs, though, not quite able to make the moves as easy. It's not been as scrappy in this one as those 2 earlier races. And John Nuttall still waiting for the perfect opportunity, but time continuing to tick down. Time is not his friend at the moment for the 23 of John Nuttall. And opportunities dwindling to steal away that race win. Somehow, William Omar is still keeping those drivers in behind in the battle for 3rd place. I thought he definitely would have got sent at some point now, but all the drivers remaining very respectful in their racing out here at the UK Kart Series. But they'll need to find something a little bit more if they want 3rd place by the end of this race. Just over a minute left to go on the clock. It's a lovely exit out of the final corner from Brandon Edwards, but he can't make any use of it. Has to sit in behind once more. Sadly for the leaders, it did actually go down the gap ever so slightly on the last lap, and a 10th gained by John Nuttall. But it still just doesn't look like he's quite close enough, does it, on the camera shots that we're being treated to here? Time continuing to tick down. When they head under the gantry next time, it'll be on to the penultimate lap of racing action here from Fulbeck. There you can see them on this beautiful drone shot. Through the final corner they come. Onto the penultimate lap of this race. They cross the line with 24 seconds to go. But still, John Nuttall, he's been knocking on the door throughout this entire race, but he can't find the right key. He cannot find his way past. And he must be getting sick looking at the rear bumper of the 64 of Alistair Tinker, but Alistair has just led this one beautifully. Just been pressing on really well. He's got the fastest lap of this race, and his consistency is fantastic. Just a little bit faster again on that last lap than John Nuttall. Extended that gap to 1/4 of a second once more between the 2 leaders overall and the 2 leaders in our senior class. Juniors continuing on. Juniors continuing on as well. Somehow William Omar is still ahead of Brandon Edwards. I'm not sure how. Leaders though onto the final lap then here. Alistair Tinker ahead of John Nuttall. And to be fair to Alistair, I haven't really seen him even look back that much. A few courteous looks just to double check where his rival is. There's another one of them. But never feeling under pressure, particularly as the battle in behind, that one is hotting up. Serious defending from William Omar up into the right-hander, trying to keep his rivals behind. We'll keep our eyes firmly locked on this battle for the race win, though, as we continue on through this final lap of racing. Down through into the boot for the final time. It looks like Alistair Tinker will have done enough here to hold on to the race lead. I can see outside my window Brandon Edwards going crazy at the drivers behind, that they're not working with him. But here comes your race leader and your race winner. Alistair Tinker sees the checker flag first and wins in BWR Senior. John Nuttall in second place. But here come the juniors. Will it be William Omar? Will it be Brandon Edwards? Out of the final corner they come. Who do we see first? Through they go. It's William Omar. Omar sees the checker flag, wins in the juniors. Brandon Edwards having to settle for 4th place overall, 2nd in the juniors. Then it's Danny Elson and Phil Waters, 3rd and 4th in seniors, 5th and 6th overall respectively. And then we just wait for our last 2 drivers out there on the black stuff. That'll be Leo Ralph and Max Byrne there to finish off the order of 8 drivers. A good race there to finish off the day. Sadly, John Nuttall not able to find a way through that race. Alistair Tinker holds on and takes the race win on number 64. Well, there we go then. Already, I can't believe it. Finals done and dusted here from Fulbeck. And what an afternoon of racing we were treated to here for round number 8 of the UK Kart Series. I hope you've enjoyed watching the action from wherever you are, whether you're here at the circuit at Fulbeck, somewhere else in the world. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like the live stream if you did, and subscribe to the channel as well to keep up with all live streaming action from the UK Kart Series, not only to finish the season, but also into 2026. Well, my name is John Ratcliff. I've thoroughly enjoyed guiding you through the action here from the UK Kart Series. Like we say, round number 8 here at Fulbeck is done and dusted, but still one more round left to come. Sheddington on the 1st and 2nd of November. We will see you there.